I'm Simon King, and this is What's Wrong. Welcome back to the. This is our third episode that we are of the rejuvenated, revisited, rebirthed, reimagined. What are they? It's like a grimy reboot. A grimy. It's not grimy. I've bathed, but it's not. Well, you couldn't tell, but I've bathed. Normally, I didn't have to bathe when it was not audio. When it was just audio. When it was not video, I don't have to bathe. I've shaved since the last episode a little bit. Just trimmed it down. Wanted to look a little more like a guy who might have an El Camino for sale. Might not. I don't know. You can never know. You never know. But yeah, so this is. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate you. If you're just listening to this, you can watch it on YouTube. Please do that. Go to my website. This is simonking.com and click the YouTube link and then subscribe and we'll get into it. I've been doing a lot of PR for the special that we just released, which is fine. Normally, it's not that big of a deal. I don't mind it. I get it. It's part of the business. You know, you have to talk to people. You have to, you know, and nowadays, not just because of COVID, it used to be like this as well. You do these phone interviews back in the day. You used to get up early in the morning and call in. Sometimes when you're in a new town, you'd call in to help book tickets. You know, like,
come on down to the super wacky funny hut tonight and check out Simon King. Simon, tell us, where do you get your ideas for jokes?
And then it's like 6 a.m. and you were out drinking the night before and you're like, I don't know, I'm fucking sad. Like, whatever it is. And then they would play that and people were like, this guy's sad, let's go see him, right? That's kind of my niche. But I've noticed that now, because of COVID, I'm doing all of these Zoom ones now too and stuff like that, which has added an extra element of weirdness to it because you can see everyone in the thing, which is fundamentally odd. He says, having just started a video podcast, which makes it the anonymity of it goes. But I'm just so tired of, if it's your job to be an interviewer, to talk to comedians, for the love of God, come up with something new. It's the same 6 fucking questions every time. Where do you get your material from? Do you think comedy's back? Did you kill that hobo? I hate being asked those questions. Yes, I killed the hobo. All right? I did. He's a hobo. We've proven we don't care about poor people. This doesn't matter, all right? I'm a white man. Just take that out of context and just put, this doesn't matter, I'm a white man. Anyway, I just think that if your job is to interview people, make them sit there while you yell at the camera. And don't talk to them. Don't look at them. I can't keep a straight face without introducing my friend, my very good friend and my guest today, ladies and gentlemen. It's Harris Anderson. Hey!
It's me.
Now you're allowed to talk. You weren't allowed to talk before,
Yeah,
right?
no, don't get in the way of Simon King. That's what I've learned.
The steamroller of verbosiveness.
You don't stand a chance.
Oh, his words are heavy, like his body. Thanks for coming down. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Thanks
my
for being
pleasure.
here.
Anything for you, man.
What do you think of that? We got this fantastic studio. We've improved our lighting and video technology.
It's beautiful in here. What a lovely space.
The sign behind you, I don't think people can say, says "Take the time,"
Take the time.
which is encouraging theft of time machines.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit up the Rolex store downtown.
If you just take the time. Oh, this looks nice. And just run.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it was like, when did he rob you? You know, weirdly enough, I never checked. I don't know. It was sometime in the afternoon. What do you think about time machines? Is that a thing? You think
Time machines scare the hell out of me. They scare the hell out of me. Well, first of all, here's the thing. Anytime someone says, we were given a time machine, you have to go back and kill Hitler. It's like expected of you, right?
Yeah, that's job
Yeah,
one.
but it's like, well, why do I have to be the one that, like, you'd go back and kill Hitler? It's like, yeah, fine.
Well, that's your
It's
thing.
like, what if I just want to, I don't know, see the Police in concert in 1980 or something?
That's your reward for killing Hitler.
If Hitler's there, I'll kill him.
Yeah. If he's in the mosh pit.
If I look over and Hitler's beside me, jamming out to Walking on the Moon, I'll do my best to murder him.
And the whole time he's jamming out to Walking on the Moon, he's like, this is a good idea. We should do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, I got to deal with this now.
If a 100-year-old Hitler is there.
100-year-old Hitler would have been adorable.
Yeah, 1980, I guess he'd be in his 90s or something.
Yeah.
So you could probably just, kill him just by shoving him really
Cute old
hard.
Hitler. Oh, look at him. But imagine if he got away with it and he ended up in a retirement home and no one knew he was Hitler.
Yeah, then he was just telling people.
He just called him Andrew Heidler or whatever. It's like, how come his family never comes to visit him?
Because they're dead in a bank.
It's like, I killed 6 million people. Yeah, yes, of course you did.
Of course you did.
I can't cut a steak, just like I couldn't cut Russia.
You think you get
I commanded an army. Yeah, of course. He's bad today. He's having a bad day.
I nearly ruled the world. Help me to the toilet.
I think that would have been the best to see degraded old Hitler. They should have killed all the other Nazis in front of him and be like, you're going to live for a long time and you're moving to Delaware.
I think from a humanitarian standpoint, obviously Hitler was disastrous, but from a comedic standpoint, he's been nothing but a gift.
Gold. It's gold. It's Nazi gold.
Yeah. Well, he's such an easy shorthand for evil and monstrosity that without him, it's like, I guess Stalin doesn't have the same ring to it, you know?
It's that thing, too, and that's that thing I always said, like, the problem with comedy, too, is that you have to have these very, very, very broad references. Like, if you want to talk about a science fiction thing in comedy, you can't say, like, like Event Horizon. Everyone's like, like 9 people saw that movie. But if you want to, you can say stuff like, Star Wars, and everyone's like, yay! Because even if they haven't seen it, they know it. And even if people haven't seen Hitler's work, they know of it. Particularly the late stuff. Like, if you go back into the back catalog, early Hitler, brown shirts, before that, gas attacks, I'm working as a spy. That was the early stuff.
Yeah.
But later Hitler.
Do you think Hitler would chill out as he gets older, or do you think he would, still be angry Hitler at 100?
I don't know. The thing about Hitler is, too, I know he shot himself, which is by far the funniest joke I've ever read on Twitter, is someone said, say what you will about Hitler, but he did kill Hitler. And I was so jealous of that joke. I was just like, fuck, that's a great joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that if Hitler had made it, if Hitler had survived, I like how we just got into Hitler right away.
From time traveling right
And it's weird because this isn't Hitler Cast, which is our other podcast, Mike.
Well, at least I'm talking about him with other people.
Yeah.
And not just, not just muttering to myself.
Not just painting pictures with a paintbrush in your teeth.
This time in the evening, normally I'd be scratching the eyes out of magazine pictures and muttering about Hitler.
Well, thanks for coming here.
I took time out of my schedule from crossing the eyes out of people in Cosmo.
Yeah, Harrison's got hobbies. He doesn't have time to. It's like, well, I would come to the party, but I got all this Hitler stuff to do. It's like, what Hitler stuff to do? Like research? Mm-hmm. I'm making a foam finger. It's more of a foam arm. Anyway,
Yeah.
That would be at the sporting events instead of a foam finger, instead of foam arm.
Yeah, as the Berlin Olympics, the stands were full of foam arms.
I'm moving so many of these things. We're going to be rich. The foam arm guy. He saw it. He jumped on it. Look, I don't even agree with the Nazis, but I know a good idea if I see one.
Yeah.
I got a plan here.
Slips over the arm. It's stiff foam rubber, so you just keeps your arm like this.
You can't bend it. That's awesome. Big foam arm. Just slightly fatter arms with big long white fingers. Oh boy! Oh, and our intrepid producer Mikey Greenwood is here. I'm sorry, Mikey. I forgot to tell you.
No problem.
We just started off
Sorry,
on
Mike,
Hitler.
we got off on Hitler.
When Harris and I get together, it's all Hitler.
Hitler takes priority.
But he is the. And there's plenty of despots that have done much worse than him.
Oh yeah, Pol Pot and.
But I mean, you can't make Pol Pot references because
No.
everyone's like, what's that? Like, I used to have a joke
Yeah.
the Pol Pot. The Grilling Fields, my favorite Khmer Rouge restaurant. Try the Pol Pot roast and the mass gravy, and nobody.
Oh my!
And people got like, and I'm like, shut up! You don't even know. You didn't bother. Research your despots, is what I'm saying.
Research your.
Who's a little-known despot? I mean, you can go back as far as you want.
There's been so many of them.
Lady Bathory. You want to go back there?
Idi Amin. I guess no one really talks
Is that
about
a kind of
him.
music? I listen to a lot of Idi Amin at house
Mugabe.
parties. He's just rocking out to Idi Amin speeches, just like taking Molly and just dancing to a crazed dictator's words. You are the last king of Scotland.
Mugabe.
Yeah.
he was
Mugabe's
really
got
bad.
one of those names where it sounds like a kind of wine or something.
Yeah, I say
Mugabe?
Mugabe. You say Mugabe, but I don't know.
Mugabe. Mugabe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mugabe. Who else we got in dictator chat? We got. Well, you can go back. You can go back a long way too, because I'm a fan of the Mongols, the historical Mongols. You got your Kublai. You got your Genghis, which I thought was Genghis. But it's Genghis.
Genghis?
Genghis Khan.
Okay.
Genghis, and his wife's name is Borte.
I'm not thinking of Jenga
You know
Khan.
who's coming over later is Genghis and Borte. And they have got such a big yard. Ugh, so big. He just keeps adding on. The Mongols were impressive because they did that, Have you ever listened to that Dan Carlin's Hardcore History? You ever listen to that?
No.
It's a great podcast.
I'm actually not very well versed on history. It's kind of an ignorant subject for me. I don't know a lot
Well, what
about
did you do yesterday? Because that's where it starts.
Yeah.
It starts somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, my personal history I'm good at. Like, my personal history, like, I know how many keys I have.
Yeah.
Like, I know that. I know
No,
what they
history
do.
and geography are kind of blind spots for me. I need to do some more
They go well
reading.
together.
They do well.
Because you'd be like, Germany attacked the rest of the world. You'd be like,
Where?
Is
Australia?
that near India?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indian Hitler attack.
India.
We can't get into that.
No, we can't. Indian Hitler. Wow. We're right into it. We didn't even really. I had some weird rant about guys asking questions, interviewing, and then we just two-legged into Hitler.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's how
I watched an interesting thing on the creation of the Volkswagen Bug, and where that came from, and that they basically the Germans were like, you're gonna have a car and you can get everywhere and it'll be awesome, and everyone was like, that's great, and they're like, yeah, buy these. I guess they had to like save up stamps. And they bought these stamps or whatever, and then when it came time to it, there were no Volkswagens. And then the British, during World War II, bombed the shit out of the factory, and there's only like one left.
Oh.
So if one bomb had gone one little way over, there would have been no Herbie the Love Bug.
Oh, wow.
So this is what I'm talking about. I people tell me these things, and I'm like,
So I just make
no
shit up
idea.
and you don't know.
You could be making it up, but
Did you make that up? Or is that
Yeah,
right?
well, I mean, he obviously doesn't know about I think it's like 6th King of England, King Lionel. King Lionel in the vinyl. That was King Lionel in the vinyl. He was the first pleather-wearing English ruler, long before Princess Diana. Like way before.
yeah.
Pleather's a real. You can't just name things what
Yeah,
it's like.
he's the one who invented Wednesdays, right? Before,
Yeah.
before that, the week just had 6 days.
Yeah, just had 6 days, and he's like, no. Originally, it was pleather day, and they're like, no, you can't have pleather day. It's like, why not? Because it sounds weird. It sounds like you have a speech impediment. I
All right.
fucking talk for
That's-
a living.
That's the next 10 minutes.
Speech impediment.
I have a list.
You're listening to Stuttercast, and I'm not making fun of people with speech impediments. I have a speech impediment. I'm an idiot. And it impedes my ability to speak properly, apparently. I don't know whether that's because my teeth are like chiclets or what the fuck. Like, I have giant teeth.
Oh, it's
Very
just
big teeth.
everyone. It's a malapropism. Everyone makes malapropisms once in a while.
Like on airplanes? Malaprop is no good. All right? Plane are going to stay on the ground.
I had a speech impediment when I was a kid.
Did you? What kind?
I couldn't. I would always switch out my F and TH sounds.
For the N-word? I don't think that's a speech impediment. Just his F and TH sounds are wrong. Well, that's not what we brought you in here to talk about today. Does he listen? Did he watch the movie Colors? Does he listen to a lot of hip hop at home? He doesn't. It's not hateful. He just says it.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it was terrible. No, I would I would say the number 3. I would say the number free, and
yeah.
vice versa. Yeah.
Okay. So if you would say free, you would say 3. It was like code.
Yeah.
So
I would say like 3 Willy.
3.
3 Willy. Yeah.
I saw that movie.
Which I think there was 3 Free Willy movies, and they probably missed out on
Free
calling
Willy.
it 3 Willy. Why wasn't Free Willy 3 called 3 Willy? I'll never know.
Well, it was Weekend at Willy's, and it was really hard because they needed 5 or 6 scuba divers to hold up each flipper to
like-
make him look alive.
It's like Fast and the Furious movies. Like, I don't follow them, but it's like, aren't they just calling them like Fast now?
Yeah.
Do you know what Free Willy 3 was actually called?
Um,
Free Willy 3 is the rescue.
Willy
So
the
we
rescue.
actually missed it.
Willie believe we made another one? Willie believe going back to the Willie? Willie. That's Alf. It's Alf 3 Willie because
Yeah.
we're talking about Alf.
How could they-
Willie
yeah.
3.
That's a missed opportunity.
The 3 Willie.
Yeah. 3 Willy.
That sounds like someone from the Old West. Hey, it's old 3 Willies coming. I hear there's a bad guy around. Yeah, the Hitler's here. Old West Hitler. There you go. He would have been gunned down immediately. Because instead of going for the gun, he would have just gone like this and it would have flown out of his hand. He would have hit the guy in the face.
He sure is ornery at all those bank owners.
I love how close to the line this is, and we're not editing it, so this will be fun. Okay. All right. Okay. I think we have to get from despot chat.
Right.
I think we have to move on.
Yeah, I think we should.
I don't know if we should.
It's our best interest.
It feels like yeah, we're slowly edging towards something that's going to get me fired off SNL. But I'm not on it. But they'll hire me and then fire me just for the purpose of it. They'll be like, all right, we heard you were doing some shit. That's the thing. Let's talk about that. Do you think cancel culture is real?
Yes, but I do, but not in the way that a lot of people talk about it. When you reach a certain level, like people say, oh, like Dave Chappelle has been canceled. Like, no, he hasn't been canceled. He still performs sold out shows and makes millions of dollars. It happens in smaller arenas, I think. There's people in like smaller artistic communities, like even in the theater scene in the city, that have been they can't work because they've said or expressed an opinion that people don't like, or they just have a disagreement with someone over something. So I think it is real, but it happens on lower levels than what people think.
Yeah, I think there's definitely. It's interesting to see how human beings have kind of like, because this whole internet thing, this whole social media thing is so really very new. I mean, the funny thing is, like, I'm 44, and so I was born and grew up mostly analog until I was basically in my mid to late teens, was when the internet, I mean, I was doing online chats and stuff, like BBSing and stuff,
Talking about swords.
Yeah, like it's like a bulletin board system. It was a text-based communication that you used to have, but it was all local. It was all people nearby. It was just basically like, it was like really elaborate texting. And so I'm doing that in like as early as 1990, but I think the way the internet is now, access and having the ability, just because you can say stuff and people will listen to it doesn't mean you should. And I think we're dealing with it. It's like when people first have alcohol, they just overindulge because they've never had it, and they're just like and then after a few years they're like, I can't fucking keep being a pilot. Like, I gotta stop. So they they basically stop drinking as much, or they learn to moderate. I think my generation and a little bit older and a little bit younger, I think there's this sort of thing where they overindulged in the power of social media, and it got to a point where they realized, hey, we can do the mob mentality thing where we feel good about ourselves we can just post things for people to agree with us, and it'll make us feel good.
Yeah, I think it brings out the worst in intellectually cowardly people, because they just a lot of them they'll say or endorse almost anything for a few likes, right? They kind of just. And sometimes, let's be honest, I mean...
Hang on a second. Fuck cancer. I gotta do one of those. We're actually sponsored by cancer, so that's hard for me.
Sometimes the dissenting opinion is ultimately the right one, but it's getting harder and harder to dissent. And I'm talking about reasoned dissent, not saying stupid stuff like I disagree with 99% of scientists about climate change, or just unscientific stupid things. I'm talking about things where people have a reasoned opinion and say, I disagree with this because, and then people respond so in such an uncivil manner, just because they want a few likes.
I think people miss the one of the great things about arguments was that you had an opportunity to learn. Like, one of the things I used to use Facebook for was I would often post not even jokes, just ideas I had along a line of logic, and wait for the attacks to see if I could defend it. Because then I realized if I could defend it, and if I knew the logic was, sort of airtight, then I could continue and go on and make this joke or follow this with a relative certainty that it would be okay. I mean, obviously, you're going to come against people who know things better than you or everything, but ultimately, for what we do, you're trying to find this relatable thing across a certain line that most people understand and most people can get either behind or against, depending on what you're looking to do. And those conversations were really great. So I would always use like social media for that. I would always like never have like negative arguments really very much with people. It would always, because I would never go on anyone else's page. I would only ever really go on my page, post what I do, and then go, look, people come here, I have the home field advantage because this is my yard. So like right there, it's like you have to want to engage at that level. But the problem is sometimes you're right. I think people find this weird sort of dopamine response of just like, oh, I zinged this person here, but it doesn't mean anything. Ultimately, you're just, you're shoveling water up a hill. You're not going to make any changes. It's just a highly selfish practice, and I find that indulgence is a whole different pleasure center thing that people are starting to experience they've never had before. No one's ever listened to people before. They didn't give a shit. And all of a sudden now, someone in a basement has the same theoretical platform as the President of the United States. They kind of do. I mean, you could reach as many people. You probably won't. But think about some podcasts that have 50, 100 million listeners. Think how insane that is. I mean, MASH, the final episode of MASH got like 100 million viewers or something. And that's like one of the biggest shows in the history of the world. Like the moon landing got those kind of numbers, and now every week you're doing it, like, and you can reach those people. That's intoxicating, and I think the smaller levels of that are intoxicating too. Hey, I got 15,000 likes on my tweet. It's like, what does that really do for you? You still got to pay your cable bill.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only people that should not. I mean, I do have. I think the only opinions that can be dismissed without due process are ones that as long as someone's making sense, they deserves to be heard, and as long as they're talking civilly. And I think there is a real art to debate and civil discourse where you address someone's blind spots in an argument or so on and so forth without making them feel bad and without just resorting right away to ad hominem.
Like constructive, right? Like, that's the when it becomes ad hominem, when it becomes this sort of like just attacking, when you have nothing left, that's when I kind of always look at it and go, well, there's no point in continuing here. Like, because I had a tweet that went a tiny bit viral a little while ago, and it was a Louis C.K. tweet. And it was not even that offensive a joke. It was just, he released a special, didn't tell anyone. I guess he doesn't always want people to see him coming. Like, that's all it was, right? It's just a simple joke, not even that. The amount of dude bros, that was pretty funny. And the amount of dude bros that got mad and then turned it into attacking my appearance, my comedy, whatever. Immediately, I was like, hey, man, like, first of all, I think he might actually have appreciated that joke. Like, I know comedians better than douchebags on the internet do, and I know most comics would be like, you got me.
Well, also,
and even if he didn't, it's like, fuck it, man. Like, I didn't do it for, like, I did it because I thought that was funny. I mean, I don't know if you use Twitter like this to just to vent, like, just to write things. I'm never going to use this joke in my acts, but I've got something funny to say about this. I'll throw it down and done. Walk away, right?
Who came at you? Louis C.K. fans?
Some Lucy, mostly just these kind of alt-right incel-y dudes who just go after everybody because the same people who said, oh, your comedy's so PC, and then they watch the special and like, oh, that's pretty good. It was like, well, you should have fucking watched it first. Like, someone called me woke. Me.
Yeah, no.
Here's who I hate.
Well, I think with social media, it's kind of like driving. People feel protected by that feeling of anonymity. People do things in their cars, like say things and make gestures to people they would never do outside of a car, but they feel anonymous. And same thing in social media.
Yeah. And you're surrounded by glass.
Yeah, no, I've seen people say the most like egregious, insulting
things. The Pope
things.
throws the finger hard, and he's in a glass box. That's what he does. This one's his favorite one too. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
But you know what I mean. People feel protected. So some people type the most insulting, egregious stuff, and then you see them in person, and they have like nothing to say. They're just very quiet. It's they feel empowered by anonymity.
I've encountered that with comedians and stuff. Like people who post stuff online, and you're like, dude, I didn't know you were like this. And then you see them at a comedy club, and they're like, hey, and I'm like, well, I don't think I can. Yeah. Like, I mean, part of me is like, like, let's try and separate the internet thing. But then part of it's like, I can do that with everything but hateful stuff. Because if someone says something horseshit or insane, it's like, well, I mean, we're all kind of horseshit and insane. Fair enough. Like, I mean, okay, maybe birds aren't real. I don't fucking know. I'm not going to get into it with you. It's not affecting anything. But if someone goes and like, birds aren't real because blank race destroyed them. And I'm like, hang on a second. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, anyone who puts like racist or sexist or hateful stuff, it's like, that's where we part ways, because I can't just let you get away with that. I can't, because morally I can't. Like, I mean, I'm a coward as a human. I'm a terrible fucking coward, and I don't like confrontation. But there does come a point when I'm like, dude, like, or, I can't talk to you based on, it's not like you posted one thing and made a mistake. And that's the thing about the cancel culture thing, is like, a lot of these people, it's series of behavior. It's patterns that have been going for a long time. It's not one. I mean, if someone wants to cancel you for, something, you did 9 years ago 1 joke or 2 jokes or even a special or whatever. That's, things change. If you used words that weren't appropriate were appropriate back then and aren't appropriate now, people are allowed to grow. I totally get that. I totally understand it. If you're predatory or hateful and it's a history of that, yeah, that's not canceling. That's just cleaning house. It's just dealing with people who shouldn't. And yet, on the hard right, there are legitimately hateful people who are spreading hate, and they're more famous and more successful than ever. And I think that's been a nasty side effect of the internet.
That is the disappointing thing about people. Like, when you get to know most people, it's like everyone believes at least one horrifying thing.
Yeah, you really do.
You don't have to only it takes a couple of drinks, and it's like, they shouldn't be allowed to have so many children. It's like,
whoa!
You're like, I have to go home now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Is like, and comedians too, particularly, is like comedians will say, the darkest, most offensive thing to other comedians because it's funny. Because it's also when people know you. They know that's not who you are. It's like the conversations you have with your friends, the conversations you have with strangers are very different conversations. Yeah. Like, you can say shit to your friends you cannot say at work. And that's because the environment is not appropriate. But people don't seem to realize the internet is an all-encompassing environment. Yes, there are people who are your friends on there, but there are a lot of people who are not and do not know anything about you and will choose the context with which they take these, from which they take these jokes or whatever you say. So, like, I had to go through and do some clips of the latest special. And I went through and I was like, if you take some of these out of context, you could totally make me look like, because I'm doing a character bit or I'm doing whatever. And I'm like, but you have to trust that most people understand that intent and context are still really important.
Well, so here's the other thing. And I feel this is really important. And other people have articulated this probably a lot better than I'm going to articulate it. But
how many? 3 of them? Sorry.
But comedy is not for everybody. And I feel like there's this growing feeling, especially amongst the left, that people are more and more people are coming to see comedy, and they feel like comedy is this thing that it's open to everyone. But it's not. If you don't have a sense of humor, it's not. It shouldn't be open to you. If you find that you are offended by a lot of jokes, it shouldn't be open to you. They're called comedy clubs. They're clubs where people go, and there's a pact, an understanding that sometimes people are going in the pursuit of getting laughs. Someone might say something that's a little raw or a little close to the edge, and it extends so far into social media as well. Someone types a joke, and someone will take the time to say, like, not funny.
Yeah,
it's like, well, why don't you just ignore it?
Yeah, that's what I never understood. Is like, you don't need to interact.
Yeah,
it's like I don't care if you don't like the paintings hanging in the art gallery, but if you stand in front of them and tell other people not to look at them, you're an asshole. That's what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, so if you're the person that's doing that and going like, I don't like the color red, so nobody should see this and nobody should paint the color red. It's like, well, hang on a second. Then aren't you being the douche? Imposing. I mean, and obviously hateful stuff notwithstanding, I'm saying that, like, if people can't see intent, like, there's plenty of times you make a joke and it fails or it bombs or it's disastrous or you do something that, in hindsight doesn't make sense or, whatever. I get that. That happens. But if you can't judge the person, people don't see the person. They just see the thing, the target they want. And what the target is they want, this piece allows me to take this person down. That's why tabloid magazines were always so popular, because people want to see successful people fail. They like it. It makes them feel good.
And they love Bat Boy.
Yeah, they love Bat Boy. Bat Boy. Bat Boy?
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Is that, did I say it right? Pattinson? Yeah, Robert It's not Patterson, right? There's some guy named Robert Patterson working at a grocery store does not understand why Hollywood Reporter keeps calling him. I put the bread on the top this time. Leave me alone.
Do you guys think that comedy journalism has changed with cancel culture?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot more think pieces than there need to be just in general. I mean, God save me from the think pieces.
Yeah, there's a lot of dissecting that's kind of needless. It's like, I think it was... I think Ivan Decker, I was talking to him once, and he was talking about the pointlessness of, like, comedy reviews. He's like, the show's already happened. It was a one-off show. It's already happened.
Yeah.
It's like this person's just telling people who weren't there, like, didn't really like it. It's like, okay, great.
It was fine until he did this, and it just really wrecked the flow. It's like, who gives a shit?
Steve Martin in his book wrote that, like, this when he became mega, he would get reviews before he'd even played the town.
Oh my God.
People would be like, pretty lazy, hokey stuff. Like, I haven't even done the show yet.
But that's the thing, is like, I think that's the other thing too, is like, I think what's happened with the internet too is because everyone's desperate for their 15 minutes. They want their attention. So whenever something comes out like a cancel culture thing or a cancel piece or whatever, it's like this person said this word, there are invariably hundreds and hundreds of pieces of like, this is what this person said and this is how me. And it's just like, it's like whenever you read a recipe online, it's the same deal with like just 20 minutes of bullshit you don't want. I'm like, so this person said this thing. Yeah. And then how does this have anything to do with your childhood? It has nothing to do with your childhood because this happened when you're 44. And this happened. And well, when I was 5, an adult said something similar to me. Anyway, I like pills. And it's like
Like
what?
in the recipes before they get to the actual recipe, there's like a whole paragraph.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of paragraphs, which is like this podcast. We haven't got to the podcast yet. This is just the setup. We're going to teach you how to make muffins after this. Stamps.com.
It's just an unboxing video.
It's an unboxing video.
We're just gonna unbox an action figure.
Unboxing video is just two guys in trunks standing, staring at each other and not doing anything. Ding, ding. Unboxing. The pacifist sports. I used to have a joke about it. It must be hard for devout Buddhists to box. It's like, well, I'm not gonna hurt you, but I will be reincarnated as sand and get in your eye. So that's what's gonna happen.
Just sets himself on fire in the corner. Some guy circling around him as he's burning.
The guy throws in the towel, but it's on fire. That's, oh man, how long does it take to burn a monk? Round 3. Speaking of which, where are we at for time?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. I think it's time for Let's Get Random. Random. That's what this is. You didn't know. He looks like he's waiting for like hot dogs to follow the scene, like some sort of game show.
Release.
I thought you were gonna reach over and punch me in the face or something.
Let's get random. Just start taking my shirt off. There are more cameras than I thought. Is that a drop cloth? Anyway, so what Let's Get Random is that what we do is I found this random conversation starter thing online. I thought this is the best thing ever because we have literally no idea what it's going to come up with.
Sure.
It's billed as conversations for all types of people. So it could be like, how are your corns? You know, we don't know what's going to come up.
I'm all types.
Yeah, so all types, exactly. I'm more like type 2s of people. Anyway, the point is, so what my intrepid producer Mikey Greenwood does is he presses a button and then he brings up a topic, and then if we want to talk about it, we do, and then we talk about something else or whatever we want to.
All
So
right.
let's get random.
All right, this is pretty good for touring stand-up. So what is the worst hotel you've stayed at? And after that, how about the best hotel?
Worst hotel was a motel in Tacoma that I stayed in when a bunch of my friends went down to see Dave Attell in Tacoma, and it was grody. It was really bad.
What's
Can you
that?
elaborate?
I remember the TV screen was like stained with like, what I hoped was coffee or whatever. It was like,
Someone did a spit take with
yeah,
coffee on the TV.
and one of my friends was working as an exterminator at the time, so he was like, put your bags on a shelf or in the bathtub because this place for sure has bed bugs. It
Oh no!
was gross.
Yeah,
Dave
that's-
Attell was great though.
Yeah, he stayed next door. Dave keeps it real. Hey, my coffee's gone.
Yeah. As for best hotel, I can't really think. I don't know. I've had more decent hotels than bad hotels.
I mean,
so-
hotels where you have to put your bags in the tub.
That's
up
the worst.
there. That's up there.
Yeah.
No bags in the tub. This is good.
I can't think of best hotel.
You can't think
I'm
of a
pretty
best
easily
hotel?
satisfied, so.
Is there any feature about a hotel you like?
I mean, I have this, like, I like to take a bath. Because I don't take baths that often, so I learned this from the travel writer Bill Bryson. He's my favorite author. What I do is I check it when I check into a hotel. I run a nice hot bath, and then all those free lotions and soaps they give you, I just dump them all into the bathtub. And it creates like a nice, foamy, refreshing bath.
So you only bathe on vacation? Like take baths on vacation?
Yeah, that's why he's got it. That's why he's got to put all the lotions in there.
Right.
Well, I have two guy roommates, so you wouldn't want to take a bath. in our hotel.
Nah, you wouldn't want to take a bath.
So yeah, I treat myself to a bath.
The cleaning lady's just so pissed. Ah, what happened? What are they making? Bathtub gin? Are you one of those people like when you get to a hotel room, are you tidy and neat, or are you just everything everywhere? Like it looks like a suicide bomber filled with a suitcase full of clothes, or just set it off in an airport?
I guess within reason. I'm not overly fastidious. No one's accused me of being fastidious.
You said that. No one's accused me that lived. It's like, whoa, that was weird.
Yeah. They
He's got more roommates.
sign NDAs.
And
I will not accuse this person of being fastidious. No, I'm not really. I just kind of throw my stuff wherever.
Oh, okay.
I don't worry about.
I'm like super anal retentive.
Oh,
Like the fact that these chords are like this is driving me insane. Like it literally is. Like I look at this and I'm like, well, this should be in a sin, and that one should flip. Like I'm weirdly like a neat freak. I really am.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much so when I get to a hotel. Like if it's a 2-bed hotel, that's the best because then what I can do is I can put my suitcase or my bag or whatever on the other bed. And then I can take my clothes out and then put them neatly on the bed.
Oh.
And then I wear what I'm going to wear that night. And I put before I leave the hotel room to go to the show, I put all my clothes back in the bag.
Wow.
Just in case someone doesn't like my set and I got to go. and then I hide the shit I need in the room. And then I come back and then you wouldn't even know I'd stayed there. Often it doesn't even look like anyone's been in the room. It's so like, I'll make the bed again. You'll know because I've used one of the small
Are you a
soaps.
serial killer?
Yeah, I got a little bit of that Patrick Bateman going
Yeah.
on. Like I
He
really
leaves
do.
a cipher on the hotel stationery.
Yeah, there will be more. What? That's weird. But yeah, no, I'm very much like that. I'm very much. I don't leave fingerprints anywhere. Careful. And good with bleach. Anyway, I think that's the second time I mentioned I'm good with bleach. So people are gonna be like, he's telling us something. The Zodiac Killers podcast was really weird. It's like, anyway, I can't give too much away. Real busy this weekend. Here's how to clean a 38. He doesn't want to tell anyone. It's the Zodiac Killer. He doesn't want to give it away, but he likes to show off at parties. What do you guys do? Oh, that sounds pretty legal. I'm a bit of a wild child.
Oh my god.
And then no one ever picked up on it. Like just a Zodiac Killer. We're just like working as a butcher. He's like, anyway, sure do like to watch the life drain out of people's eyes. He's like, hey, he's weird, that new guy.
He's gonna be the first serial killer with his own podcast.
Oh, there probably is one. There has
Yeah.
to be a serial killer with a podcast right now.
I'm sure by now.
Laughing their ass off right
Well,
now.
Wolf of Wall Street.
You know what's great? I don't even do a true crime one, but I do true crime. Know what a true crime podcast by a serial killer would be a great true crime podcast, which is like, here's how I did it. And then just all the stories about just like
My
shit.
journey.
Most people are objects.
Like,
I started practicing on small animals.
but then he also just does regular podcast shit.
My guest today has a new book out.
Both our serial killers sound like Jesse Ventura.
Here's how I would do it. If I was to take a life, here's what I would do.
Hey everybody, I'm a serial killer, and this is what I like to do when I kill people. I like to like to watch the life drain out of their faces. Anyway,
John C. Serial Killer?
John C. Serial killer.
Because they all have 3 names. John C. Riley, that's a serial killer name.
That is.
hey, I kill a lot of people on movie sets. Anyway,
Well, you're an impression guy, right?
I used to be more so. I kind of let it. I let the muscle atrophy. You got to practice impressions a
You
lot.
do. You have to practice them. You can't because they drop out. I did it one last night that I wasn't happy with. When I was doing actually one of the best ones I do is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I screwed it up because I was switching too quickly.
it's when I do it at the time, but at the time I couldn't do it because my voice was really
So
small.
how did it sound when you tried to
To me, it didn't sound right. But I think it did sound right.
Your whole body language changes.
Yeah, you
when
got to
do
do that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Anyway, here's how I did it.
It's Arnold's podcast.
Impressions take a lot of practice, and I could never do modern people. I could only do older
Cave
people. It
people.
was getting a bit. It was pretty cheesy. It was like
Who could you do that was like the one that
Oh,
like
you
is a
know.
forbidden impression that you enjoy the most, but everybody does or it's hack or whatever you
Oh,
do.
I used to do Michael Caine a lot,
Michael Caine's
Oh,
fun.
please.
but everyone was like, see, it's been so long since I've done it.
Size of attention.
I used to do a Michael Caine in Interstellar because he was like a NASA scientist, and it was just like his most improbable science ever. Like, I built a spaceship. All of you to ride into it. The next galaxy. The spaceship will blow up.
Oh
Yeah.
man, just put Michael Caine in
Yeah.
every.
Yeah, I used to do Ray Romano as someone from ISIS. Like, yeah, I'm gonna cut this guy's head off. Yeah. Oh no.
Allah loves Raymond.
What makes you guys want to learn an impression?
I always wrote the joke first. So if I wrote a joke, sometimes it's just that like I can do impression of my aunt and shit like that. But like I would sometimes do impression of comics just because they're friends and I can do that. But mostly it's I would write the joke first, and then I'd be like, oh, now I need to get an impression. And Michael Caine's a funny one. I never had a Michael Caine, and then I got asked to do this gig. This guy said, hey, can you do some voiceover work for us? And I was like, sure. And he goes, I figured probably going to land on a celebrity that I can already do, but he's like, I need Michael Caine. And I was like, I can't. And then I got to sing as him as well. And I was like, I can't. And I literally, I blew my voice out trying to learn how to do Michael Caine. I can't do Michael Caine, but I tried to do the best I could. Michael Caine. But I couldn't do it.
That's pretty good.
Not as good as yours, though. Yours is very good.
So he
Mine
starts
is more sort of like this. I can't do it. And then so I don't know if you find that too. It's like you have to sometimes say a few things and then get into it.
Yeah, for me, I mean, when you're doing impressions, you steal a lot from other people. It's usually you hear someone do it, and they kind of crack the code for you.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of nail a speech pattern or what someone does with their mouth. And then that's kind of like, oh, that's how you.
It's hard to do the walk-in because everybody does like. I mean,
Everyone
walk-in
does
such
like
a
the
common,
ow
but that's not what
part.
it sounds like. And the thing is, it sounds like because you're supposed to. Because if you want an accurate representation of what someone sounds like, people don't think it sounds like that person because they think Christopher Walken sounds like Jay Moore's Christopher Walken. He doesn't sound like that. Right.
Yeah,
he doesn't sound
or
like
Kevin Pollak's.
Kevin Pollak. He doesn't sound like that. Like,
Yeah.
what's yours?
I think people kind of ignore like he
Talks a lot like this, especially in Batman Returns.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to push you out the window.
yeah, that's good.
This power plant is my legacy.
It's so weird. As soon as he's doing the voice, my mouth starts to do. And
Yeah.
then you have that where your mouth starts to do like the shape of like.
Yeah.
Sure.
You think you could go a few rounds
Yeah,
with
why
Muhammad
not?
Shrek?
Yeah. You know, sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
do it. I mean, but 9 touches Arnold.
Yeah.
So that's the other problem too. Is I get into a track of it and I can't get out of it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like I sang one. I sang Christopher Walken doing "I Will Survive," because I was like, well, that seemed like the.
I
I'll survive.
you know, I had a love. I know I'll be alive. No.
yeah.
And
It's really good. It's fits well.
That's a lot of that is the trailing off of the last.
Yeah.
Like, but you have a favorite one that you're like particularly, they think is your best or your proudest of? The people want to know.
I like doing Matt Berry lately from.
Oh,
Matt
fuck,
Berry
do
from
that for
IT
me,
Crowd.
please. I'm so jealous of this. People don't understand. Like, I do a lot of like unknown English celebrities too that nobody gives a shit about. But Matt Berry is one that's now transcended. I've never been able to get him. I'm very jealous of it. This makes me very angry. I brought Harris here to kill him. So let's.
Yeah, it's like I actually haven't done it in a while. It's like I'm not even aroused. God damn these electric sex pads. You've got mad eyes.
I'm so jealous.
I can't wait to get my hands on these sexy calendars.
I'm so jealous. Like I just can't get my head around that one.
But I can only really do that mode. He's
Yeah.
got several different
Yes.
gears.
Yeah,
There's
I always end up
somebody
as Jay
at the
Peterman.
door. There's somebody at the door.
Yeah, see, that's really good. That's like that toasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they do make me laugh. That
Yeah,
sort of
that's
thing.
really, I can't do that. Damn.
Oh, well, you'll figure it out.
It's like seeing someone in a really nice car and you're like, one day. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get it. 'Cause,
You both can do Michael Caine. What's like a tip to do a Michael Caine impression?
Michael Caine. I like Michael Caine. I think what
I think it's the right timbre,
Yeah.
first of all.
That's it.
Start soft and
the
he gets
way-
Yeah, and Cockney.
It's the way that his voice sort of goes up.
your
Yeah.
face goes
It's
big.
higher than a lot of people think it's stupid.
The Cockney
and
thing-
It's not that
yeah.
You
deep.
both make the same mouth when you do
But
it.
yeah,
yes, I
well,
do.
mouth shape is a huge thing in impressions. I think a lot of it is like determined by like if you're like Robert Downey Jr. I don't do Robert Downey Jr., but like a lot of people who do, like they do this like show. Here's the thing,
Yeah,
do that.
that's similar, yeah.
like
Okay,
right,
alright,
okay,
so what I'm gonna do-
Stark Tech, great.
It's like
that,
you
that
can't,
kind of
you can't help but do Leno.
Yeah,
we'll get
yeah,
some,
chin out there.
yeah. Mouth shape's a huge thing. I think that's probably if you start trying to do a new impression, it's probably the first place to start is watch what they do with their mouth.
Can you do an impression of an orangutan? That's my favorite impression that I get. My grandma used to love this impression. It's like,
Your grandma used to do this?
Maybe she was asking for help, Simon.
she had a stroke.
Is she a stroke? Yeah.
She had a stroke, and that's the only way she could communicate was through orangutan. We used to watch Clint
She
Eastwood
probably just wanted you
movies.
to give her the mask back,
Last
the
10 days
oxygen
of her
mask.
Life, she was just orangutanging the whole time.
Oh, physical distress.
It's just the orangutan podcast,
Yeah.
and you just interview me as an orangutan. That's all it is. Like, what's the worst hotel you stayed at? to get your teeth out. We are just apes, everybody. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with being an ape. Anyway, you're on Ape Chat right now, picking flies off your mate. Yes or no? We'll be the Planet of the Apes that no one ever saw. The morning ape DJ. Hey, it's crazy up there. A lot of humans on the old bypass, so make sure you go around there. And let's go over to Dr. Zayas with the health tip. Keep healthy. Planet of the Apes in the morning. You're listening to KAPE. Cape, ape, ape, ape. All ape, all time. All right. Anyway, anybody out there shitting in their hand? Hey, anybody? It's first thing in the morning. Anybody?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I like that. I don't know about you. I like a big handful of shit first thing in the morning. That gets me going, right? All right.
If an ape comedian on, they ask where he gets his ideas from.
And now for the weather. Sun scary, sun hot. Oh, we don't understand it yet. We're apes. Anyway. Ape morning radio. Can you recognize this by the first three notes? Do you know what that is? Is it Justin Bieber? It's Justin Baboon. What's a good celebrity ape?
I just Bubbles.
No, not a celebrity. Like a celebrity if they were an ape.
Sorry.
Jesus, Mike.
And come on.
Bubbles.
And Bubbles.
Bubbles is still alive.
Bubbles is still alive?
Yeah, he lives,
Yeah,
I
Michael
looked him up
Jackson?
the other day.
With a
Not
secret.
personally, but like
He has a secret. He's just
I
old.
wandered into town with a big duffel bag like Rambo.
Incredible Hulk.
I'm looking for Bubbles. He lives on a shack down by the river there.
He's gone all Yoda
Yeah.
Bubbles, so he comes out.
Yeah. No, he lives in a sanctuary now.
Does he?
Yeah. God, the things that ape has seen.
I know, right? Holy
Yeah.
shit. 'Cause
Or
it-
hasn't seen.
He'll
They
have
don't
his
have
own
the-
documentary soon.
They don't have the palate
If they
to
could teach him
express it.
sign language.
Michael Jackson just cuts his fingers off with a cigar chopper.
No, Bubbles, no.
You be silent.
You can't ever tell us.
It's not
No.
nothing.
Oh, Michael Jackson is an ape.
Michael Jackson. Well, the thing is funny is like, so if you take like, I used to do Michael Jackson driving, like having road rage. Just. Just like put his hand through the sunroof. Cut him off. I was like, "Are you all right, sir? Have you been drinking?" That was like one of my first ever bits.
Michael Jackson road rage. Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and that led
awesome.
into a bit called
pretty
Camaro
good first
Compliment.
bit.
It was one of my first bits, and led into a thing called Camaro Compliment, which actually happened. It was like fucking 20 years ago, maybe even more. I was walking across the street, and a guy in a Camaro, and I'm not kidding, with one door the wrong color, like an 80s Camaro. Like, not the old, sort of like similar to the Firebird from Smokey and the Bandit, but like the slightly newer one after that, the next generation, like
He had a
86.
replacement door.
Yeah, it had like a different colored door, and the car was like, and I was walking across the street, and he's like, I go, huh? And he goes, hey! And he drove off.
Wait, so he recognized you?
He recognized me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then he saw, that was like the first time I remember getting recognized. And he was like, just gave me the finger. And I just think everyone else around that had no fucking clue what was going on. Because I used to have a bit called African Dickworm. And people would
Okay.
actually yell dickworm at me once in a while. And I was like, part of you was like, hey, they like my bit. And second, it was like, I'm on a fucking street and people are yelling dickworm at me.
I'm at a funeral.
Like that dude's my ex and he's mad. You know, he's like, dickworm. It's like, okay, I took the pills.
What was one of your first bits, Harris?
I think my first. Oh, it was some really cheesy. I think the first joke I ever told on stage was like, it's so freaking lame. It's like, oh, sorry if I'm a little slow to start. I spent the night I got this brand new IKEA bed, and I spent the night on that. Anyways, tonight I'm gonna put it together.
I like that.
That was it.
I like that. That's
was
a
it.
good joke. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Perfect
but
structure.
It's a safe space. You can say
Yeah.
that joke.
then I went on to say, I can't remember what else I did. I did that.
That was your only joke.
Yeah,
You
that was my
stretched
only
it
joke.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was at a meat draw.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm a little. How long have I got? 4 minutes left. I remember I used to do like what did I have? I had like I just used to cram a bunch of fucking impressions in. That's all I did. It was like just like impressions and dumb shit.
Oh, me too. I remember.
just do, like-
Well, I think what finally did it for me with like, because I used to do impressions. One of the first like few years I did it. Like what finally did it to me is I saw. You might have done something similar to this, or maybe. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this scene from like, I'll pretend I'm a dinosaur in Jurassic Park, and I'm gonna write up a list of celebrities that I quote unquote do. And I gave it to someone in the audience and said, you just yell out different celebrities' names while I'm doing it. And it went so horribly and it was so embarrassing that I think I swore off them forever. It just ground to a halt and I was just like standing there just like with my arms like a T-Rex. Like
half dinosaur, half Michael Caine.
everyone's just like, this is really lame. I'm like, oh God. It was so...
I have a very
wish
big claw.
It was
one of my feet.
one of the most embarrassing sets I've ever had.
I think that the thing is about that too is like I think impressions too. I think people that don't do impressions, I think they see comedians that do impressions and think that we have some sort of like get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
And you do to a degree because there is that parlor trick of it. But quite frankly, if you don't have a joke, it doesn't go very far.
And I didn't realize you guys practice impressions. I didn't realize there was.
Yeah, you got to get them right, and you got to get them back in tune. I mean, I'm like Harris. I haven't done a lot in a long time because. Yeah. Like, I mean, why? I don't do them around the house. You know, it's just really weird. No, well, looks like we're out of milk again. Guess I better buy some more. Like, no one's doing that around the house. Like, that's weird. You'd be impossible to spend any time with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's funny, but it becomes part of your personality. Like for me, I don't know if it's like I modulate my voice so much just regularly to accent what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That if I ever find myself. Like, if I ever lose my voice or get a very bad cold, it fucks with my personality. Because I can't go to that little extra step that I would do to accentuate a point. Like I'm very much, like, accents or whatever I want to throw in there, I'll just do that. And if I can't do that, it feels almost like a limb is missing.
Yeah, well, your voice is, like, a huge part of your act. I mean, you really run the gamut. And, you know, I feel like we're kind of simpatico in that way. I like to use my voice and do different things with it.
Yeah, you're good at character stuff. You do a lot of good character stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. I
call you Man Bamford. That's what
Man Bamford? Maria Bamford's amazing.
She's amazing.
In terms of, like, I mean, Maria Bamford, I think, is also just an amazing comic. But in terms of, like, their vocal ability, I think it's, like, her and Pablo Francisco in terms of, like, comics. Like, both their technical ability.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like Pablo Francisco's comedy.
It's the ability.
The ability. Just amazing.
There's some people out there that you can just watch and you're just like that Terry Fader guy.
Yeah.
He's a singer who does ventriloquism. I think he won America's Got Talent the first time. And he is incredible because he's doing these impressions without moving his mouth. Oh, wow. Which is nuts. I can only do one like that.
Wait, he's a ventriloquist.
He's a ventriloquist,
okay, yeah.
and he sings.
I would hope he was a ventriloquist.
Yeah, no, he's had a stroke, and that's what makes it even worse. He also, unfortunately, he didn't win because he couldn't eat soup, and he was singing Patsy Cline while.
That's 2 stroke bits.
Yeah.
We might have to donate to the Heart and Stroke Club.
Yeah, we have to. Fuck cancer. Anyway, but yeah. So I was always impressed by that because but doing ventriloquism almost freaked me out because it seems like witchcraft.
Yeah, my grandfather used to get get so mad if he could see the ventriloquist moving his lips.
It was a thing for him.
He would record it and he'd be like, "Watch this." He was an English guy. He'd be like, "Look at it, his lips are moving." He doesn't. It's not bullshit. Yeah, he'd be like, that's terrible. His lips are moving all over the place.
Dear Reader's Digest.
Yeah.
I had a very bad week.
Yeah.
Such a funny thing to be strict about.
He was very strict about it.
So many letters to the editor.
You can see his throat moving there.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like a thing. He was like legitimately angry at ventriloquist. Because I mean, ventriloquists are always like one of those things where you're like, man, ventriloquist. But then I've not known anyone to like inspire rage. I mean, maybe like some of the ones who are like more hateful and racist. But like
good ventriloquist and be like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. No lips moving.
How do you know if it's a good ventriloquist though? Like, how can you tell? I guess that they can sing and do impressions. Like, to me, he's doing impressions. But he could do that without the ventriloquist bit. He doesn't need a puppet.
Yeah.
He just go out there and be like,
when you see them live and you're in like the 15th row, you can't see the muscle in their neck twitching. It's like, plus I'm willing to suspend my disbelief that the little man in his lap is not sentient.
That sucks for the little man that is sentient and
Yeah.
he never gets equal pay. There's no.
I wonder if
there's
anyone's ever taken a little person and put him on, like an actual
no
little person,
for sure.
and just tried to pass that off as a ventriloquist
For
dummy.
sure. It's like Mickey Rooney's first gig.
Even while drinking water.
even while
That's how Mickey Rooney got his start in vaudeville, was as a ventriloquist
even while
dummy.
withholding his food until he gives me half of his food. Just a terribly abusive to his ventriloquist dummy. And then there's no ventriloquist dummy services.
Back in the trunk, Mickey.
You can't call ventriloquist dummy services. Did you hear about that guy? The protective ventriloquist dummy service. Did you hear about that guy that was he was born and grew up? He was a dwarf, and then had a tumor in his pituitary gland, became a giant.
What?
So he went from he was 3'11" and died at 7'9" or something. Like, I'm not kidding. In his life, he went from tiny man, and the whole time he's got to be like, oh well, these pants don't fucking fit either.
Did his dick grow with him? Did he go from a small dick to?
I never thought about it. It would have to. It would have to. Everything grew. His feet grew. His head grew. The whole thing. He was an odd-looking man at that point because his body would be like, look, we're tiny. This is how things go. I'm cool with it. And then all of a sudden he's like, fuck. And he's really he's got to buy a new car.
Yeah, that
it
sounds
was
like
really
hell.
big. Yeah, he was an Australian guy, I think. He was Australian. Or maybe he was Australian.
And an Australian accent to boot, like a true,
I'm
a
gigantic.
true freak.
I'm fucking big.
we're small now. I'm huge.
You know what, though? It did because he went back and dealt with that alligator that that crocodile that caused him a problem when he was 11.
Look who's back.
Hey, look who it is now, little fucker.
I don't think you'll be chasing me around any longer.
I'm gonna turn you into a bag.
Your luggage, mate. Your luggage.
That's funny, too, because
He started out like he had that voice. It's like, yeah, fucking hell. I'm going to kick that crocodile's ass. And then that crocodile kicked his ass, right? He's like, I don't know. And then slowly but surely over time,
he became a little more like normal.
Hello.
probably.
Hey, boom.
He breaks his chains.
Probably looked up all his old girlfriends.
Hey,
Brenda, look who's huge now.
Check it out. It blocks out the sun.
Would your accent grow with you, or would you just outgrow your accent eventually? Because giants don't have an accent. There aren't a lot of giants with an accent.
Yeah, I guess so.
I wouldn't think. Like, it's like, fee, fi, four, form, I smell the blood of the Englishman. The Swedish giant, mush, mush, just throwing wagons over his shoulder. Entire
Accents are more a
battalion.
small person thing, it seems like.
Yeah, accents are a small person thing, not a big person thing.
I used to have an accent before I was 8 feet tall.
Your voice gains natural reverb.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm gigantic.
I don't know why that was in a helicopter. You can't, he's too big for a helicopter. Cut his head off.
The last giant out of Vietnam.
Climb on board.
Just remember the Hanoi Hilton.
The horror. The door sills.
It's while Fortunate Son blares in the background. Bow, 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 bow.
Some folks were born made to stand 7 foot, 7 foot 4.
There was only room for me in the
He was
helicopter.
the tallest veteran from Vietnam.
We left so many behind.
I'll go get him, Sergeant.
Bang, couldn't fit other people in.
Just someone tries to land a helicopter on him because he's so big.
We have to go back. We left them to the Viet
The
Cong.
helicopter's coming. Grab me.
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. The tallest veteran, the gigantic Vietnam soldier. Oh, okay, I guess we're probably close to time now, aren't we? Are we done? We're done.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Oh, we're way
58
over.
minutes.
Okay. Well, Harris, this has been amazing. What would you like to plug? Please tell us, and please tell people where they can find Hello Harris. I would really like people to find you. 'Cause you're very funny. One of my favorite people. And
Oh,
so funny.
thank you, man. Twitter, I'm at Hello Harris, HULLO Harris. I'm on Instagram, The Harris V.
Hello.
Hello Harris was taken.
Hello Harris. Hello Harris. Hello Harris.
The Harris
Hello.
Anderson on Instagram. And
Your Twitter handle is an impression.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just how you set it into voice to text. Hello Harris. And it's like, hello Harris. You're like, oh, fuck.
yeah, with a sad face emoji. And I have an all music EP out called "Songs No One Asked
Oh, it's
For."
so good. And what the song that I think podcast people will particularly love is your Joe Rogan song is
Yeah, Joe Rogan is the single.
fucking incredible.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's so good, and the video is great too. So they could where can they find that? On a YouTube channel?
Yeah, videos on YouTube. You can check it out there.
That's amazing. And thank you so much to everyone who's listening. Thank you, Harris, for being here.
Hey, my
thank
pleasure.
you, Mikey
My
Greenwood,
pleasure,
for being
guys.
here. Thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe. The links will be all over the place. Go to the Patreon if you want to get an extra bonus episode. It's patreon.com/thisisSimonKing. My Instagram is thisisSimonKing. My Twitter is @unfamous. And for the podcast, it's @WWWSKPodcast. If you want to send us a letter, I used to do a segment where I would read letters, and I'm gonna start doing that again. Please send a letter to www.skpodcast@gmail.com. Have you heard about the Gmail? That's fantastic.
It is special.
Gmail. Oh yeah, and check out the special As Good As or Better Than. It's on the same YouTube channel that you're watching this on, I hope. And I think that's everything. I think
One thing,
that's
Spotify has ratings now, so if you're listening to this on Spotify, once you listen to it, you can rate it 5 stars. It all helps, and you don't have to do anything. So
yeah,
do that, it'd be awesome.
rate, review, subscribe, and send us stuff on the email because we're gonna keep doing this. Let us know. We're getting to that point. Let us know which guests you want to see again and which guests you want banished forever. And so we're gonna send you a little note that says, "Do you like Harris? Yes or no? Circle 1," and then you mail it back to us. We do all this by mail. So that's it. That is the podcast this week. Thank you very much. I've been Simon King. Thank you, Mikey Greenwood, and thank you, Harris Anderson.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.